So I decided to make a improv video tonight because it's 10 o'clock at night. On 420, happy 420, happy weed day. And I decided to make a few stories, not make a few stories, but tell you a few stories since I'm out of high school, almost. I have all my I have all my credits, so I just need to wait for the graduation day, actually. So, this is improv, keep in mind, so if you hear any, weird noises, any flickering in the background, or any dogs, excuse that. So, I'm gonna tell 3 stories. The third one being, I think, the worst out of all of them. Either third or second or first. They're all pretty bad. So, this is basically 3 stories from me throughout my life, my career in high school. So, story number 1. I was basically, it was after PE. I was going down to the locker room, female locker room, to change out my gym clothes, which they were, a sopping mess. They were, all sweaty. Just the worst. And I looked to my right to see if anyone's using the bathrooms, because the bathrooms don't work, or the stalls don't lock properly, so I'm do I really need to be careful today or not? So, I looked, and I see 2 pairs of feet in one stall, and I'm okay, time to just, ignore what's happening. They're probably vaping. Girls being girls, haha, am I right? But, I basically just get ready, to go to my next class and just get changed, but in the middle of changing, I hear, "Let's just do it, Samantha, let's just do it." And then I'm oh, fuck, no, these kids are about to literally do something while I'm in here. And I put on my shirt, and I just go, knock at the stall door, a good, 17, 18, 19, 21 times. I accidentally counted the time of recording. So I counted a good, 5 times really loud. And this guy, pops out. I'm oh gosh, this is actually real. And keep in mind, I didn't want to knock on them to be mean. I just didn't want them to do stuff while I was in there with them. When I, getting caught for that type of stuff, at my school, you get put as a sex offender if you do. So, if anything, I was doing them a favor, but the guy starts to climb over the stall, and he was pantsless. So, I run, to get my bags, because I had my Nintendo Switch. No way I was gonna, leave my Switch behind. But I grab my bags, and I just, go run, as far as I can, and my dumbass, decides to go to the back, to the back entrance, where it's always locked, because it leads to the outside, and I ram into the door, trying to unlock it I'm about to get murdered, and he stares at me. I'm trying to look at his eyes, but it's you could tell he's not wearing anything, but he's no, don't tell anyone, and I'm dude, I wasn't going to tell anyone, and he offered the, hush money, he gave me, $300, and I was no, dude, no, and that's, he forced to give me the $300, and I later that week could not keep it, because I felt so bad that he gave me that large amount of money. So I literally had to hunt this guy down and give him, the 300 back. He gave me the 100, A100, and that was cool, but, yeah, that was dumb, of them, but what am I to judge? Second story was pretty embarrassing, in my opinion, for a couple of reasons. One being that okay, so this is improv. So I went to the library. It was a few days after my birthday, I know that. My 18th birthday. and that I decided to go to the library to see if there's any new books, because the library's, like, I read I read almost every interesting book that was in the library. And I come across a new manga, and I was like, ooh, this is a pretty nice manga. Like, like, it looked really fresh and new, and it had sword fighting in it and medieval stuff, and I like medieval stuff. I think it's cool. I'm a Dungeons and Dragons nerd, but, so I'm like, okay, why not check that out? And yes, I'm one of those people who judges a book by its cover, but not for the way you think. I'm more interested in, like, okay, what's the story mainly about? Like, is it a fantasy? Is it a crime, a mystery? Like, I one time got tricked into thinking, like, oh, great, this is a fantasy book, when it was really a war novel, but, like an actual war novel. And it was interesting, but it was pretty depressing to read. But I slammed the book on the counter, and I'm like, I want this book, like, please, 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 like, or not please, 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 but I was like, okay, I don't slam it, but, I just said it like, oh yeah, I found the best book. And the librarian looks at me really weird, and she's like, can I see your ID, please? And I was like, I was thrown off by that. I was like, wait, why do you need my ID? And she's like, oh, for legal reasons. And I'm like, oh, okay then. So I hand her my school ID, and she gives me a weird look, a really weird look. And I was like, okay, and she's like, how old are you? Like, what year were you born? And I was like, I was born in a number, 2000. And she's like, okay then. And then she gives me a book, and she starts laughing with her coworkers. And I go home, and I just set the book aside, and I started working either on a story or I don't know. But I started working on homework. I actually know now, because it was an assignment. There was an assignment that I needed to work on that I had AD in that class, and I was pissed about it, but oh god, I'm losing my voice. But I bring the book to school, and I start reading it in my study hall when I got everything done. And my friend looks at me, and, like, he's like, oh, sweet, new manga. So he decides to look with me. So, and then we get to a part where they start to kiss, and it's like, okay, it's getting a little risque here. And then they start making out, and I'm like, okay. And then I turn to the next page, and there is a lot more skin and a lot more other stuff. And my friend grabs it from me as the teacher walks in the room asking for the kid that grabbed my book. And he slams he quickly puts the book in his bag, and he, like, apparently needed to go to the office because he got, like, caught vaping or something. And they go through his bag, and inevitably they find and look through the book, like, to see if there's, like, nothing carved in the book, like, to hide in and all that. And it's literally, they call me into the office. And I go, like, as soon as I hear my name coming from the teacher, I was like, oh shit, what could it be? Like, it could be this. Like, I was like, yeah, I'm getting suspended. I'm gonna be, like, known as the one who brought hentai to school. And it was, like, one of the worst experiences you'd ever, like, experience. So they call me up to the office, and I just sit there, like, with my head down, just feeling very terrible. And they're like, they show me the book, of course, and they were like, do we need to even ask? And I told them the whole story, even about the librarian, and they understood. Like, they know I'm not a bad kid. Like, I don't get in trouble. Like, I don't go off in my way to get in trouble and all that. Like, I only got detention once in my life. And it was there, yeah. I was like, very late to school. Like, I didn't even check in or anything. So, yeah, they know I wouldn't do anything very rash like that. But, that was very embarrassing, having to explain to my teacher, who can't keep her nose out of anyone's business, like, why I was in there. So that was embarrassing, and she announced it to the whole class, too. So that made my will to live go from, to not even 100 to probably about 50 to 0 in, like, an instant. So, the last story is actually pretty depressing. It's pretty sad, pretty depressing. At the same time, it has a twist. I'm losing my voice. So, I lost a friend like a week before from suicide. This was freshman year of high school. I lost a friend to suicide. And like I was really sad, but I needed to go to school because my grades were starting to slip because of the amount of days I missed because of this. And I literally like had so many breakdowns like that day. But the teachers were like, okay, what's wrong? Like, and I told them that, and they knew like what happened, but they didn't know the reason why I was sad. Like they didn't even know I knew this person, but in all due respect, like, they handled the situation really well, and all. Oh god, I'm losing my voice. They handled the situation really, really well, and like I was like since I was the closest with her, like I was told like to look through her locker, not look, but get her things through her locker because the janitor that day had to go home really sick because apparently some kid barfed on him and he just couldn't handle it for the rest of the day. So that I go to her locker with the combination and I just do the combination. And I like look through her things and all that. Like I'm like, okay, is there anything of mine that was in here? Because I was missing a few sketchbooks and a few of my favorite art pens. And I see a book, like a sketchbook of hers. And I don't normally snoop through other people's sketchbooks, but I had to this time, like, because, like, something in me told me. And I saw, like, it was pictures of me and her just, like, throughout, like, just, like, hanging out and all that, doing, like, normal human things. And this, like, one picture of me wearing a Shrek head. And me, like, Shrek head terrorizing the mall reminded me of the time when I wore a Shrek head and went to our mall and, like, our city's mall, and we terrorized the crap out of so many kids that day. So, this was, like, really stupid, but we were trying to be really edgy and watch Shrek every day, like, when the meme was still huge. And we listened to All Stars Slowed Down as we lit candles, and oh my god. And we, like, worshipped this picture of Shrek. We were trying to be really edgy for a meme, but that we decided to go to it has a nickname, but it was called the Row Mall or something. But we decided to go to the Row Mall. It was called the Ramal, but we decided to go to the Ramal because, like, a lot of people skated there and all that. There was an awesome skate park. But that, we decided to go in there, like, trying to be, like, edgy to the other fellow kids. But instead we ended up terrifying a bunch of young kids that was at, like, a play date there at the skate park part. And I actually got very huge trouble for this, for terrorizing this kid, and this Christian mother threatened to sue me. But yeah, that was the last story. I think it was pretty sad, like, because, like, it was about my friend and all that, but it ended in a happy note, though. Me and her, like, we ended up seeing a movie afterwards. It was, what was it? I can't remember what it was called, but it had to do with, like, God, I am so tired. It's 4:20 and I'm not high. Like, I never gotten high at all, but I'm just tired. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed a lot. I really enjoy making these videos, even if they don't get a lot of views, but at least I'm entertaining a small audience that actually enjoys my content rather than a large audience that wants different types of content and all that. But next video should be an ASMR video if I could think of anything. Have a good night, guys. Stay safe and don't be a stranger.